Let me give some inputs on what would constitute learning. So it's up to you to take it or leave it. Learning typically means that which helps you to change a current habit into a more productive one. How many of you got what I said?
It's a corrective habit to make it as a productive habit.
Okay. And how many of you know what are your current habits? There are two aspects to habit. Typically, if you look at it, the root of the habit is what you think, how you think, why you think. Do you even know why you think, what you think, and how you think is the first question. And normally thoughts leads to a series of actions. But how many of us have a personal goal in the real sense, in the truest sense, is a question. Think about it. You don't need to react or respond. Only about 1 to 2% of the world population, it is said, that have a concrete, clear goal as to where they want to go in their lives. If you have, congratulations. If you don't have, time for you to go and do an inventory check. In case you have, you're going to look at the habits that are actually aligned with those goals. See, the goals can be in several areas, can be personal, can be social, can be anything. You have quite a few areas in which you can have. If you make a list of habits and if you make a list of goals, surprisingly you'll find that almost 60 to 70% of your current habits in all probabilities do not align with your goals. Go back and do an inventory check. Could be plus or minus, but typically you will find this happening, which also means one of the most precious assets that we all have that gets replenished every day, called time, gets easily wasted. Because it's your ability to think, which is the seed of your action. And this thinking is what actually makes the habit, which if it is not connected to the goal, you'll find it just meanders through the day. About 4 months back, I was reading an article in Economic Times. And it was about corporate executives who are paid in excess of 50 lakhs per annum or more. And the survey said almost all of them have 30% of time wasters built into their day, which means they effectively do nothing in that time. If it resembles you, welcome aboard. If your percentage is higher, maybe you'll increase the numbers. But typically about 30% of your time in a day goes down the drain without even you being aware. That's because you are not conscious of your thinking, which forms in turn the habits. In turn, if it doesn't connect to the goals that you have or you don't have, the whole thing goes down the drain. Anyway, what do ideally goals should be based on?
Our aspirations.
Aspirations, okay. Thankfully, nobody read the book yet, so I can freely speak.
Our own dreams, what we have.
Okay, good. Okay.
Set target.
Based on our accountability and responsibility.
You can take something like this. Dreams, desires, all that gets converted into goals. But there is a foundation on which this should ideally stand.
Question is, what is the foundation for the goal?
What should ideally be the foundation for the goal?
Experience.
What you are
அந்த வார்த்தை விட மாட்டீங்களா காத்தாலும் 3 தடவை சொல்லிட்டீங்க.
So what you are accountable for or what you are responsible in that position, basically, professionally. Based on that, the goal can evolve.
Accountability is like an output. Okay, the goals, when you achieve the goals that you have.
Let's say you are into some subject area where you are responsible to take care of something. So based on that, you need to keep a goal, couple of goals towards that responsibility. Right? I'm talking only professional context here, not personal goal.
Okay.
So sometimes
can you have two different standards for personal and professional goals?
Yeah, personal because it's my life. I can set based on ethics. I can set based on only social cause. I can set based on only my selflessness. But others will be with the selfishness. That is only personal. I can be answerable. But for organizational or professional, we need to align with the expectation of the company or what is so responsible, then you need to build a goal accordingly.
Okay. You're about to say something.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of the base for the goals is what you went through in your life of sufferings, or the good or the bad, what you see in the day-to-day basis, which will trigger you, create the dreams or do something. That is the base to set the goal. That is my own experience. I can share it.
Suffering leads to goal or goals leads to suffering?
Suffering also leads to goal.
Vice versa.
Both. Vice versa. Pothin Barthala, Barthan Bodhi. Okay. Let me introduce one bad word. Values. This is where the world has a big disconnect to the corporate world. Way back in 1970s, there was a person called Milton Friedman who came out with a postulation which became the basis of the thinking for the last 40, 50 years. The famous economist who went on to say that the purpose of the business is to make profit. That's all.